I'm going to be day trading every single day for this next month to see if you can actually get rich with this or if it's just luck. And mind you, I've only ever bought stocks to hold them long term, so this is completely new to me. And according to the internet, 95% of day traders never make any money. And I don't want to end up like all those people, so I knew I needed a plan before going into it. So I spent 2 weeks learning what I was going to trade and how I was even going to make money. And boy, was it a journey. I don't want to bore you with the details too much, but basically, I decided I'm going to predict small price movements on different currencies that are traded worldwide, which seems pretty easy, right? That's what I thought too, until I actually started. So we're now on day one, and after waking up at 9:30 for market open, I spotted an opportunity for my hours of research that I thought I could make money from, and something unexpected happened. After I placed my trade, I watched as the price actually went in the direction I wanted it to. And then it completely reversed. And honestly, I had no clue why. I thought I had just gotten unlucky for my first trade. And man, did I have so much to learn. Now, the next few days after that were no different. Loss after loss, and looking at these screenshots, you might be wondering, what was I even seeing that made me choose to buy or sell? And frankly, I'm wondering the same thing. So the strategy I've gone for is to play off of trend reversals, because the majority of the time the market is moving in a trend. It makes higher highs and higher lows, and that's an uptrend. Or it makes lower lows and lower highs, and that is a downtrend. And literally all I'm doing is looking for when the trend shifts. So all that means is that we've moved from a previous uptrend to a now downtrend. And that's where I'd be looking to place my trade, with the idea that price will continue in the direction of the newly formed trend. It's not too hard. So now looking back at the recent trades, you'll notice how I literally didn't do it for any of them. And this was my first lesson. The reason for it was because of the way the market moves. Because when I'm viewing a stagnant snapshot of the past when studying, it's very easy to see where I could have entered a trade to make money. But when actually watching the market live, price can be pretty volatile in the short term, which caused me to mess up my trading. And so the only way to stop this is to simply have more patience, because you're avoiding the initial FOMO, or fear of missing out, for the trade that you're looking at. And sometimes that might mean that you're making a little bit less money, but it's definitely worth it. And so from then on, I made sure that that was something I was focusing on. Now, the very next day, I happened to win a very small trade, but it was a profitable one, and I felt on top of the world. It genuinely felt like I had the power to predict the future. Honestly, few things could compare to how satisfying that was to pull off. And so riding that high, I took 2 trades the next day, took a fat L on both, but I got teased on my one trade by just barely making me lose the trade and then going the way I wanted it to. And so although it emptied my wallet, for better or for worse, it kept my confidence high because I predicted the overall trend. And so that was just me getting unlucky, right? And then day 6 rolls around, and that's where things started to pick up. I took my first sizable win at 2 risk to reward, meaning it makes back 2 times what I normally lose. And riding that high, I wanted to learn more, but it was the weekend and the markets are closed. So I started testing my strategy on price movement that's happened weeks ago, which is called back testing, which isn't as difficult as a live market, but it's good for practice. And so that weekend, I went over as many scenarios as possible to test my strategy, and I was profitable. So profitable, in fact, that on average, over all the wins and losses, I made 1.3% of my account's value every single trade as profit. That is huge. That means if I started with 10K and placed 1 trade a day for an entire year, I would have nearly $300,000 by the end of the same year. To me, this proved my strategy was more than good enough, which made it so much easier to ignore all the bad trades that I would have taken because I had confidence in the strategy I'm using, because I knew it worked. And I went on a crazy win streak. I didn't lose a single trade for the next 6 trades I placed, which ended up covering all the losses I previously had. And when the win streak ended, it was only for a single trade, but my confidence was still sky high, obviously, and I knew what I would needed to look for. And so I was completely locked in. And so I continued the win streak, losing only 1 trade for the next 7. At this point, I got nervous because this was quite the statistical anomaly already, and I was feeling good, too good, where it was almost unbelievable to how many wins I hit back to back. And so I knew there had to be some losses to balance it out. And so I tried to prepare myself mentally for that, but it didn't make it any easier when it actually came. And so right after a historical run of a win streak, I went on nearly just as big of a loss streak. The first few losses weren't anything I was mad at from a technical standpoint. I still waited for my setup and I still took the right trades, but this is where I started learning about how difficult the psychology actually is. Because after those few losses and coming back to trade again, I was taking worse and worse setups because I just wanted to make the money back or start up another win streak again, which only pushed my losing streak further and further. And so I lost 6 trades in a row row, with the first 1 or 2 being pretty solid losses, and then the rest was basically me just rolling the dice hoping to make my money back, which as you could imagine just kept snowballing because I got more and more frustrated with each loss I took. And so I decided to take a few days off just to get a full mental reset and come into the day completely fresh. I tried my best to forget about the recent trades, forget about my account balance, and just look for my setup. And I managed to pull out 1 winning day, followed by 3 more losses. And at this point, I almost appreciated all the losses that I'd experienced because it made me more detached from the balance on my account, which is a key to trading successfully. I found that as soon as I started chasing the dollar sign going up, my trading would go absolutely terribly. Because I wanted to make money specifically, it would make me take on more risk because I would unintentionally ignore certain signals that would normally stop me from taking trades in the first place. And so counterproductively, I just lose more money. And I went back to looking for my strategy with a renewed focus. But I did not pop off again. For the last week, I had no more historical win streak. I used all my luck, but it turned out that was completely fine because with my journaling, I would also keep track of all the data and averaged out over the entire month, I would make around 2.6 times what I would normally lose. Meaning all I needed was a 39% win rate or preferably greater to be able to make money in the markets. And that led us to the final balance of the challenge. If I truly made money over this month. And to my surprise, I did. I managed to pull out an extra 5% from my account balance over the entire month of trading, which is nothing too crazy, but I'm definitely happy with that. I just know that I have to trade for a lot longer to be fully confident in my data. Most people say that you have to have at minimum 3 digits of trades to be able to even have a loose idea of your win rate. So this entire month could have just been purely luck. And I won't know that until I get to that 3-digit mark. And to be honest, I genuinely had so much fun trading that I can't see myself stopping anytime soon. So in summary, what did we learn? First is patience. I need my setup confirmed before entering. Second is don't chase the money. As soon as I get greedy, I compromise my setup. And third is that it just takes time and I have to stick with it. And to answer everyone's question that I know you're thinking, can you get rich in a month with day trading? No, you won't be able to. But you can learn a lot of skills by day trading every single day for a month. And so I highly recommend it. I also want to say I did this full month without real money because I kind of don't have the money to spare. But all the trades shown were real that I traded live. And it just means my journey is going to be a little bit longer. So if you want videos on that, do consider subscribing because it tells me that you like this kind of content. That's all though. Bye-bye.